Go on. Tell us where you want to go.
Scram!
Um,
Get out of here! Don't you see I don't want you anymore? Ugh. It's like when you try to get a dog to run away, like in a
oh, I
movie.
thought that was the like a reference to Toy Story and Lotso Bear. Don't you see? They don't love you no more. Come on. Have you not seen that Toy Story?
I haven't seen Toy Story 3 in a long time.
That's your cold open.
Yeah,
Welcome back to Circling the Nest. Jake and I are back to circle the nest. There's
that's right.
actually like a decent week of Seahawks news. It's like the last few weeks, I'm like, Jake, there's nothing here. Like,
We're just kind of hanging out. Yeah,
we're just kind of hanging out. Like,
we exist only in this Zoom call. Actually,
mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah,
actually
we
lucky
don't.
that we use Zoom instead of Skype for these because Skype is dying in May.
I saw that.
That's kind of the biggest news actually of the podcast. Um,
Skype dying. Welcome back
yeah,
to a Life and Happenings podcast.
yeah, we should do that. It'd be great.
Bring back Brittany. Be like, hey, we have things that are random to talk to you about.
Yeah, I bet we could
Um,
get 45 minutes out of that.
oh, I'm sure we could if we tried. Um, to get back on track. Uh, the Seahawks, we're gonna start with something interesting because the combine is around right now. Oh, as I'm watching the Thunderbirds game and there's a fight happening. That's
Let's go.
crazy.
Let's go. Let's go. Are we winning?
It's a bunch of actually it's in the stands and it's a bunch of fans dressed as referees.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love hockey. Perfect
Damn, that
sport,
screwed
frankly.
me up. The combine's happening right now. So there's that, and we get to hear from General Manager John Schneider, Head Coach Mike McDonald, who Jake says has a resting sad face. Um, it's kind of me who said that. And then the NFLPA grades came out for your organizations, which is always interesting to look at to see what things your team is bad at or good at. But typically, the things that you're bad at stick out more, right? Um, so we'll start with this. This is it's very interesting whenever there is a report that is, one person who's generally pretty reliable, right? And then there's other people who are reliable too, and they have conflicting reports, right? Um, Corbin Smith on the Twitters, I'm not gonna call it the stupid fuck ass name, um, said that through multiple sources, the Seahawks have spoken with a couple teams about the availability of DK Metcalf um, in Indianapolis. Doesn't mean a trade is imminent, but I mean, you don't. It's always interesting when teams are at least answering the phone or engaging in discourse, like Jake and I engage in discourse, right? Um, he said that Seattle's not actively shopping Metcalf, but at least one team that has inquired feels that they have the trade package in place to make John Schneider strongly consider pulling the trigger, and that he'd at least be willing to listen. Um, he then brought the Packers in, um, and the report he had is an offer was on the table that includes a high pick and a young receiver on the roster to acquire DK Metcalf, which is interesting. And obviously, John Schneider has connections to the Packers, right? Um, so, going further on this got a lot of pushback from folks online.
As
Folk,
everything does regarding the
of
Seahawks.
course, like you could say something that's blatantly the truth. If someone would be like, "That's wrong," I'm like, oh, "Okay, well."
Hmm.
Um, the structure for this trade per Corbin would be the 23rd overall pick this year and either Romeo Dobbs or Dontarion Wicks, um, and for DK and one of Seattle's early day three selections. Then Peter Bukowski, who is the co-founder of The Leap, don't know what that is, and host of Locked On Packers, which I only trust Locked On folks so much, truthfully.
Yeah.
Um, City could confirm Corbin's reporting, so I mean, there's something. Um, and then it was interesting because he stuck to his reporting and got some pushback for it. I just I wonder, Jake, like, does that because we've talked about the idea and the prospects of trading DK Metcalf a few times on this show, right?
Hmm.
Does that so we're sticking purely to this proposed deal or the proposed like skeleton of a deal of the 23rd overall pick and either Dobbs or Wicks for Metcalf and an early day three pick. If you're John Schneider, we're putting you in John Schneider, particularly that face on the Seattle Times article where it looks like he's been through war. Um, are you making that deal? Does it entice you at all? Like, what do you think about that proposed deal?
See, it's interesting, right? Because like I have my own kind of DK takes where I'm kind of thinking that 25-6 is going to be probably like his last serious season, you know what I mean? Like his last one where he's like a top level player.
Hmm.
Um, I think I probably get scared by last year where he, played his career fewest games, things like that. Um, that deal is tempting. Mostly I think for the draft pick. Um, Another first round pick is you're not going to complain about that. Um, and I think you can, like with a young receiver like that, um, you can probably, recreate DK in the aggregate. You can moneyball him. And I don't think John Schneider's willing to do that. I think they want DK for the next year. I think they want him to kind of. They've talked about making him the focal point again for the offense next year, and I think they want his experience. He's definitely the most experienced receiver in the core right now. Um,
Yeah.
in what is otherwise a pretty young receiving core. Um, so I think they want him to be there to like kind of be the grown up in the room, right? Whenever they have receivers meetings, and I think that's kind of is where DK is going to be. I don't think they have plans to trade him. I think they might, be shopping him around behind the scenes as like just like get a gauge on where interest is, and just to see
Sure.
like what other teams are thinking about him, right? Because that gives you an advantage too. Like if
Oh
you're,
yeah.
you're shopping around DK and like everyone's like, oh, we'll give you a first round draft pick. Like, you know, consensus around the league then would be that DK is like, worth somebody in the first round. Um, which to me kind of tells me, oh, let's keep DK, right? Because are we going to get a better receiver in the first round? Are we going to get somebody that's going to have a similar impact that has the same potential for explosive plays? Like DK, for all of his faults last year, um, still can go out there and make a spectacular catch and get you 30, 40 yards. I think they're going to keep DK around even if that trade proposal or skeleton or framework or whatever is real. I think they're going to keep him around, and I think he's um, going to be someone that the offense centers around next year. Him and Gino, and that's what they've been saying
Yeah.
like, in press conferences, especially since we got our new offensive coordinator. They've been talking about
Clint.
recentering Clint, recentering around Gino and DK.
Yeah. And I mean, like, especially with a new offensive coordinator, with the year that he had, as you've mentioned, excuse me, right? Like, I'm sure it's like I don't think that what you're saying with like the concern for his last year is unwarranted. I think that's real, right? And it's like, hey, we want to see what you can do under this new guy. Like, unless they get a deal that really blows them away and is really something that's like, okay, you need to consider this because of the value you're getting, I don't think it makes sense, right? Like, I think what you said about shopping him for the value does make sense, considering, hey, a contract extension does help them out in the now, right, to lower his cap. So, I just don't buy into it too much. Like, I think the wording is important too. It's like conversations. You and I can have conversations about, you know, going down to spring training and actually trying to get to the bullpen. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean we're actually going to go and, I'm going to ruin my arm. Like, I would blow my arm out quick.
They
Yeah, that
should
wouldn't.
invent walk-ons for baseball. Oh my gosh,
Just
that's a
show up
great
on the back
idea.
lots one day in baseball pants. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
I'm supposed to be here.
I've
Um,
had nightmares like that.
oh my God.
I've had a recurring nightmare where I'm pitching for the Mariners, and I can't throw a strike to save my life, and it gets so bad that Cal just leaves and leaves me throwing to nobody. So every pitch is a wild pitch because there's no catcher, and it just keeps going until I wake up. Um,
So you're
I don't
having
know
a
what
dream that you're Edward Bizardo?
I love this. We talk about the Seahawks on Mariner Monday. We talk about the Mariners on Circling the Nest. It's beautiful.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, like you said, conversations are, we're having conversations here. Like it doesn't really mean much. I imagine if they are having conversations about Gino, it is, like I said, to be um gauging interest and like seeing what kind of the opinion around the league is of him.
Yeah,
Um and kind of maybe readjusting how they think about DK based on what other people are thinking. Because, we all love to follow the herd.
the herd, Colin Cowherd.
No, I don't think we want to follow him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I mean it is interesting. Like when you've got a guy who, his contract's coming up. Like that part, the first part, contract coming up in general, like is always something to consider when you hear guys potentially in trade talks, trade talk, like they could have floated, "Hey, we want DK Metcalf." Sure. Like what are you bucking up for it? So, I don't know. I mean, and again, not to discredit local because we are local in that regard, right? Um, it's interesting to think about like I feel like this is something that like an Adam Schefter or an Ian Rappaport would be all around, like especially considering that I think Rappaport tweeted after the trade deadline passed, excuse me, last year he was like n nothing nobody got close to a DK Metcalf deal and it was like again, I don't think anyone local had reported that there was. you know. So I don't know. It's interesting to just to consider. I'm not pointing fingers or pointing blame anywhere, but I do wonder um, what the severity of those talks are, right? Like how serious they ever got, how
Hmm.
willing John Schneider was like, yes, I do want to press and work and talk over a deal and want to get something done, or it's like, hey, we want to talk to you about getting DK Metcalf. Okay, what do you got? You know,
Yeah.
like
I think that second one is probably where it was. It's like, oh, I'll listen, but I'm not gonna do anything.
especially with them all being in Indy, like they're kind of like kind of be like, I want to talk to DK Metcalf. Fuck you. Oh, okay. Like that
Yeah.
doesn't that I don't think that would go over well, right? That
I
wouldn't do
would
very well in your NFLPA grades.
I wouldn't. Whoa, NFLPA grades? What
Not
are
yet.
those?
Not
Oh,
yet.
okay. Hold on.
Wait.
Foreshadowing is a literary device in which
The other thing, before we get to the combine stuff and before we get to NFLPA grades, I know you're very excited. Um, is that unsurprisingly, given the season that he had, the Seahawks are allowing safety Rayshon Jenkins to seek a trade. Um, Seattle does have to be cap compliant before the new league year begins in, by the time this comes out, 9 days, so March 12th.
uh,
They've given him permission to seek a trade. He's got one season left on the 2-year deal that he signed last spring. Which even then when he signed it, I was like, you're signing like a pretty decently old safety who doesn't
yeah.
have great numbers. Um, his contract's a non-guaranteed base salary is 4.89 million for this year. And the Seahawks can save 5.28 million against the cap if he is either cut or traded. I foolishly forgot that he was on a 2-year deal, so I was like, oh, he's just gone. He's off the books. You don't have to worry about him. Um, his Tell me what this makes you think about or what this makes you feel. His $7.78 million cap number for this year is projected as the ninth highest on the team. That's for a guy who got outplayed by Kobe Bryant. It's not good.
Yeah. He
Um
did have a fumble return touchdown.
yeah, did all that prove that was he was fast?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure he was fast in the run. He matriculated down the field.
That's true. When you're all in there on what was it, a goal line play? All
Yeah.
the big guys are stuck in there. It's like doesn't take too much. Um Seahawks are listed as $6.8 million over the cap right now.
Ooh.
Um, and by $10 million in effective cap space. Oh, which takes into account money that will be needed to pay the draft picks that they get. Yeah. So
Okay, yeah.
that's pretty important. Um, so yeah, I mean, just to get rid of that, I mean, even if you're getting what day two or day three, well, probably a day three pick, right? That's fine. Like I don't think you're getting anything else out of it. I don't like. I mean, oh, it's only 31. Never mind. I don't know why I thought it was super old. 31 is not that
31,
old.
31 is like your life is
Ancient.
over, buddy. Yeah. He's
He's
31 and still in the league. That's a
actually a
miracle.
mummy.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, he started the first 6 games and then just uh Kobe Bryant came in and took his place and he never
Was
really
better.
did anything else. Yeah, gosh, he did not play more than 50% of the team snaps in any of the last 7 games. So,
Ooh.
yeah. So we'll see.
No, not a huge
I
loss.
don't
I'm
think it's
sure
surprising.
they could find someone else to be third safety for like 90% of the cost, probably.
Oh yeah, and I
It's
mean,
you, actually.
I wanted to play safety growing up.
Yeah.
I looked at Earl Thomas before he did all the weird stuff. What a guy, man. I mean, it was really funny this past like Hall of Fame voting cycle. Be like, Earl Thomas should be a Hall of Famer. Besides the like weird threesome he had with his brother. I'm like, well, that's it's like you always hear like the what does it take? Well, especially with Ichiro stuff, right? Like we
Yeah.
look at Ichiro and Felix, the discussion of what it takes to get into the Hall of Fame, and like in baseball at least, I don't know. I'm sure it's in football too. It's like the integrity you played the game with and how you represent yourself in the league. And I was like, well, Earl kind of tanked that at the end of his career.
Yeah.
So like, I wonder how much of that actually plays a role. They're
I
voting.
mean,
They're like, he had that freaky weird shit. Nope, you're. I'm
yeah.
not voting for you.
And I mean, beyond the for baseball, so like beyond the steroids, I mean, that's really why Bonds and Clemens aren't in, is because they were kind of dicks.
Yeah. Well, and then there's yeah that and
Well, Clemens has his own stuff going on.
Pete Rose being a freak.
Yeah, Pete Rose. Oh God, don't. So football. Let's
So
not get
football, like
on the recent Pete Rose news.
John Schneider. Oh yeah, that's right. Ooh, freak. Anyway, let's get to the combine.
Speaking of freaks. Speaking of freaks, the combine.
Oh, athletes. Okay, I was like, what are you talking about?
Yes, freaks of nature.
So there are some things that, it's always interesting when we get to the combine because
Is it?
media who go to the combine get to hear from the general manager of these teams, the coaches of these teams. Mike McDonald, it was basically just kind of reiterating a lot of what John Schneider said. Um, as they did with the Clint Kubiak press conference, and really when the season ended, Mike McDonald did. Schneider reaffirmed that Geno Smith's their quarterback going into 2025. I know people say things, and it's not always true, but I mean, it really seems like a concentrated effort when they're asked about it. It's like, hey, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. We're operating as if he is the guy. Um, and like a few guys, there are a few guys that they plan to meet with agents. They're the players' agents this upcoming week at Indianapolis with the combine happening, with Gino getting a deal done there, an extension done, like Metcalf also. Oh wait, nope, sorry. Yeah, someone asked John Schneider where DK Metcalf stands with the team. And his quote is, "Where things stand, I'm not sure. He's on our team. He's a big, strong, fast, physical receiver." Wow, we're really glazing out here.
I love that. I love the I'm not sure, and then he's on our team. That's really funny, especially because
But you
like a lot of
contradict what you just said.
no, and the way that's been reported on is like he has matter of factly said he's on our team, and like okay, but you've cut out the part where he said I'm not sure.
Yeah, you
Um,
don't. They're so silly.
fascinating.
They're so silly.
Yeah.
Um, so Gino, um, Charles Cross is I think they've got an option they could pick up with him. And obviously we talked about Uchenna Nwosu in weeks past about what his deal is and how they've pushed back his date for that with Cross.
Hmm.
He's eligible for an extension, considering that he's entering the final year of his rookie contract. John Schneider said they will be meeting with his guys there. The team has until May 1st to exercise a fifth-year option on Cross's contract for 2026. That would pay him
Okay.
about $18.9 million. They've never used a fifth-year option, the Seahawks haven't, so that's funny.
Whoa. You
But
think
Schneider said
Cross
it
is
could
going to be the
be
first?
uh, just to work out an extension. I mean, I wonder. I guess it depends. I mean, he's been what their best offensive lineman since he got drafted. Like, what is, oh God, what is, let's look, we're going to look at the left tackle market. Like, what does that look like? Because what are like, I'm saying he's been their best offensive lineman since he got drafted effectively, but that's not like the the highest bar to set for
Yeah.
players, right? So let's look at left tackle. Oh Jesus. God. Okay. Um, I'm looking at top salary rankings for left tackles, and I was like, 18.9 must be pretty high. It's not that high. It would be the $18.9 million dollars. Okay, let's look at 2026 actually, because it's
Yeah,
2026.
this is
Holy
great.
shit! Oh my God, Trent Williams' cap hit in 2026 is effectively $40 million. The
For a left tackle?
49ers are so screwed. I get he's great, but that's wild.
What a
Um,
funny organization.
they're so yeah.
And a funny city.
18 Santa Clara. They don't play in San Francisco. I
That's
will
so
die on this
true.
hill,
That's
just
so
like
true.
Anaheim and the
San
Angels.
Francisco should be a great city, and it's just not.
What do you
It,
not like about San Francisco?
San Francisco needs to
The
be
hills?
like, no, you can have a good city on hills. We live in a good city on hills.
Okay.
They it needs to get like 90% denser immediately.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. That
Yeah.
can go on our things and random thoughts show.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so $18.9 million cap hit.
They also need to not pay their left tackles 40 bajillion
Yeah,
dollars.
that's just wild. $18.9 million would pay him, make him the 11th highest paid left tackle in the league, which are there 11 left tackles better than him? I mean, I don't know.
That's
Um,
probably about right. Yeah.
let's look at the offensive line generally. That would make him the 29th highest paid offensive lineman in the league. So,
Feels right, you
I
know?
think they could I think that realistically is an option.
Yeah.
So there's that. Nwosu, Schneider confirmed that the team did move back a deadline in his contract that would have guaranteed him $6 million of his $14.8 million base salary if he was on the roster. He called it part of the negotiation with Nwosu. They do appear to be trying to work out a new deal with him to ease his $20.1 million cap hit. We're gonna go back to Spot Track and look at the other pass rushers that rank around $21 million because that's a lot of money. Okay, let's go to Edge. Oh Jesus, Joey Bosa's getting paid a lot of. Oh yeah, he could be a cap casualty this year. Um, yeah, that's paying him. Wow. So the $21 million cap hit would be higher than Nick Bosa for one. That's fascinating. Oh, and Miles Garrett. So yeah, Jake, that's not good. They got to work on
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
And so we'll go back to Gino amongst the cap guys.
Yeah.
Oh, my stomach just grumbled. Um,
You should eat some cold mac and cheese.
shut up, Brittany. Schneider, it's been thought that a deal would get done before March 16th. So that's by the time this is coming out, 13 days.
Hmm.
When his $16 million roster bonus and his deal becomes guaranteed. Um, oh God, he's due to have a $44 million cap hit in 2025 that includes that roster bonus. Um, that would rank him 19th in the NFL among quarterbacks for 2025,
That's a
behind
steal then.
um oh wait, Kyler Murray is 10th at $46 million. Jesus Christ.
Okay. Yeah,
The
that's
Arizona
true.
Cardinals are also very interesting with the contracts they give out.
Kyler
Um,
Murray's 10th highest paid quarterback?
that's wild. Jake, what do you think? Do you think they get a deal done before then?
Yeah,
Like,
I think so. I mean, it's starting to sound more excuse me one moment, I'm going to cough very loudly while muted.
you didn't want to do it directly into the microphone?
Well, no, I figured that I respect our listeners enough to not do that. Charles, on the other hand,
Sorry.
um, Charles does not respect you because he did not tell me in the previous episode that my microphone was peaking horribly.
It
Uh,
was?
this guy can't hear, apparently. I listened to the episode. My mic sounded awful. You got to tell me to lower the gain, man. Come on.
You a
No,
gainer.
no. I believe in the Geno extension. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
It sounds like it that they're going to. They're talking about Geno a bit more certain terms. You know, remember kind of at the end of the season, they were like, "Oh, we'll see what happens. We like him. We'd certainly love to keep him around. And now they're saying he's our guy. We love him. We want to keep him going forward. Hold on. What's the exact Schneider quote? We hope to get in touch with Gino. Gino knows he's our guy. We love him, and we want to keep him going forward. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a lot of like we feel really comfortable sort of language, right?
yeah. That's not your standard. We'll see what
W-
happens.
Like they did
We'll.
with Tyler Lockett.
Yeah. Exactly. Um, Certainly sounds a lot more kind of rock solid. Not rock solid. Um, Gravel solid. Like there's a firm base there, but you can still slide over the top. If you're an F1 car spinning off into the walls. Um, I
Hmm.
believe in the genome extension. I could just see in Charles' mind him picturing an F1 car spinning over a gravel trap. That was exciting.
You know what's actually going on up there in that
Mm.
empty shell of a brain?
And I could knock on
Um,
it, send hollow like a coconut.
it's interesting seeing Schneider had some comments about Sam Howell, your beloved Sam Howell. Um, and
What
because
comments
he
did he have
thinks
about
that
with the Sam Howell?
Clint Kubiak's Clint Kubiak's system will be a
Mm.
better fit for Sam Howell than than Ryan Grubbs was.
Is
Uh,
anything going to be a good fit for Sam Howell?
is the NFL going to be a good fit for Sam
Yeah.
Howell? He said, "I want to see Sam with these guys, with Clint, with all the bootlegs, and the movement stuff. We really didn't see that last year. We were more sitting in the pocket. I'm not worried
Why?
about sitting in the pocket. I'm worrying about the decision making.
Why would
Um,
you want to watch Sam Howell do a bootleg as opposed to Geno Smith bootleg?
this is true.
Like Geno's just better. Like 15 overall in every category.
Yeah,
Better.
I don't. Oh,
Sam Howell's going to be a great offensive coordinator one day.
God. Or sell cars really well.
Yeah.
Um, so
Somewhere in the middle.
there's
He's going to join Circling Seattle Sports. He's going to be on this podcast.
he can be our.
He
Is he
can be
gonna
a,
also have a nice metal cup?
he's going to have a tremendous medal cup. Kate
Okay.
Brewster of Lookout Landing gave me this medal cup.
So there's that. They have had positive talks with Ernest Jones. I know again that's something that we've talked about on the show about how much of a priority that is.
Yeah.
He can become an unrestricted free agent in again by the time that this comes out 9 days, which I don't want that to happen. There's been a lot of mutual reports. Mm, mm. He didn't deny. Oh, interesting. Jones did not deny a report from the NFL Network that his agents anticipated him hitting the open market to gauge his value. Um, Schneider on Ernest Jones said his agents had been buzzing him about an hour ago. We've had positive talks with this group ever since we traded for him, and we'll continue that this week. Um, so that'll be interesting. Pro Football Focus estimates he'll get a 3-year deal worth about $36 million. That's not bad. He only, oh my God. Do you know how much he made last year as a base salary?
How much?
$1.9 million.
No.
He was so cheap. Wow.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
wow.
So yeah, nice bump for him. I mean, I don't know. I feel confident they'll get him too. Um, so there's that. And then, as I kind of mentioned with Jake here, there was like little to no comment basically about Tyler Lockett. Um, the Seahawks could rework that deal to bring him down, um, but it seems not likely. Schneider said that they will meet with Lockett's agent this week while calling him one of his all-time favorite players. Yeah, well.
That's that's
He
encouraging.
said, when asked about anticipating if Tyler Lockett will be with the team in 2025, he says, "Do I anticipate it? I don't know. I don't know. Two, I don't knows, Jake.
True, I don't know. That's
We'll
huge.
see how this conversation goes, but yeah, I'm not
He
sure.
really doesn't know.
You see the language difference?
Yeah.
Like, I understand they're different players and they provide different value, especially last year, but like some things just stick out more clearly. Um, and that sucks. I mean, again, I think everybody likes Tyler Lockett. It just with the $31 million cap hit, it's just too much.
Hmm.
Again, we're going to use the handy dandy rankings button from Spot Track and look at wide receiver cap hits.
Every day you discover new buttons on
Oh
Spot
my
Track.
God. Wow. He has the fourth highest cap hit in the league for wide receivers. higher than Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans, Jamar Chase. Oh my
Oh,
God, Jesus Christ! Only his teammate DK Metcalf, CeeDee Lamb, and Devontae Adams have higher cap hits for 2025.
jeez.
Jesus.
Well, that
Um.
means that means bring me Tyreek Hill.
Oh well, he does want out of
Yeah.
Miami, so
I mean, who wouldn't?
well.
I'm not even talking
um.
about the Dolphins organization. I'm talking about the
The
city.
city. Why you don't
Yeah.
like the Heat?
Nah, the humidity, man.
Ah, that's true. Okay. Yeah.
Have you
I'm
ever
not a
have you
big
ever lived on the Gulf Coast or
live
the
no.
just the
Been
South
yes.
Coast? Yeah, it's awful.
It's
Grew
not
up
good.
there. 80% humidity and 90 degrees every day. You die.
Speaking of
This
guys
is
that
a
are not
football
dying,
podcast.
Jason Peters moves to a veteran role. Jason Peters, who joined Seattle, he was with Seattle in 2023, came back in 2024, really didn't play hardly at all.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can't think of
when
a play made an impact on.
when they were rotating offensive guards, there was the one play Jake was in. He doesn't remember it because he got a concussion.
Not yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, they brought him in, and people were like, "Oh, put him in." I was like, "He's not playing. He's on the street in a sweatsuit. Like that man is not playing." Um, and I mean, it just kind of made sense that he would be playing. I mean, coaching. Um, so as part of the new offensive coaching staff that's been reworked heavily under Mike McDonald after Ryan Grubb, they said no more Ryan Grubb. Get all of his guys out of here.
Still crazy,
Rework
by
the
the way.
offensive coaching staff. Hmm?
Still crazy, by the way, that they just old yellered grub like that.
They said, "Screw you, buddy. You
Yeah.
did not enough bootlegs. Not enough bootlegs." Um, they announced that so he retired, and the same day they announced that he was moving to the a new role of veteran mentor. So basically, he
Veteran
just gets to be
mentor.
the cool uncle in the
Okay,
um.
all right, hold on. What's the noun and what's the adjective there? Okay, are you a veteran mentor, as in you mentor veterans? Or are you a veteran mentor as you are a veteran at being a mentor?
What if he's both?
That's a great point. I didn't think about that. You know what? That's why your head's so like that.
Glistening?
Yeah. I was gonna say, I was gonna say shaped.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Do you ever think
Um,
about how our faces are actually just like on the bottom half of our head, but you got so much hair you don't really think about it?
see, I'm muted.
Yeah.
Um,
This is tremendous content.
he'll be an on-field coach, but will work alongside Vice President of Player Affairs Maurice Kelly. Okay, that makes sense with player affairs.
Vice President
Um,
of Players. What is that role? And how do I get that job?
Maurice Kelly has it. You can have it.
For now.
Um, Schneider said he's helped young guys for several years since he's been here. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, again, with an older guy like that who clearly wasn't going to be too much of an impact player, even on a really bad offensive line, and with how long he's played in the league, like I think this makes sense. I've never seen the veteran mentor role before,
Yeah.
but I'm not mad at it. Jake, before I get over into the NFL Player Association grades, do you have any thoughts on any of the stuff from the combine that you didn't already mention?
If I ever have like a serious thought about the combine, um, punch me in the face. Like, combine doesn't mean anything, doesn't matter. It's like saying, do you care about the Topps baseball player showcase? Um,
Wow, yeah, that's fun.
it gets a lot of attention because like anything with football does, but like, um, if you watch, hello? If you watch college football, you know she did it. There she is. She's in the. I gotta hang up the Toro jersey. She doesn't like the bookshelf. She's getting back down.
Okay, I was like, what
Um,
is happening?
Tremendous content. That's what's happening, Charles. Our viewer retention numbers are through the roof right now. No, the combine doesn't matter. You know what the players are capable of. You watch college football. Who cares if they can run fast in a 40-yard dash in a completely uncontested situation? What matters is how fast can they run when they've got a 240-pound safety chasing them.
Yeah.
it's that's all about the adrenaline's all about that. Like I don't care about the combine.
How do you run in pads? Like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'm like, oh, cool. You're fast when you're, wearing streamlined underwear.
spandex.
Yeah, and there's no pressure. You're not holding a ball. There's no one chasing you. It's like, cool. Okay. But like, how fast are you when, if you don't run 40 yards faster than that guy over there is going to hit you, you lose the game. Like that's really like a better judge, I feel.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was always interesting when I see people who read so much into the combine. I'm like, well, like, mm. Or like, yeah, someone's tape, like actual game tape, is really good. And I was like, oh, well, he sucked at the combine. I'm like, well, who cares? Um,
I mean, like,
all
how did
right,
Tom Brady do at the combine? Did he do like famously bad?
yes.
Yeah,
And it was funny when they used to have him sit there in like boxer briefs. I was like, okay,
yeah.
like why is he wearing chonies in this pic? Like, what is happening?
It's like I feel
Um,
like that alone like puts the kibosh on like caring about the combine ever.
yeah, no, I
Anyway, back onto the really important stuff. Actually, the MLBPA report card.
MLB
Wow. Sorry.
baseball, baseball,
I'm
baseball.
it's happening to me.
Is
It's
that how you feel? Because the Seahawks ranked 15th out of 32 teams on the grading overall grading for the 2024. Um, oh wait, this is his report card 2025. Okay, for the 2025 Seattle Seahawks. Um, it's funny to read this overview because, as Jake mentioned to me, this and it's the NFLPA.com. Like this is official. The
yeah.
website looks terrible.
Yes.
It
Web
looks like
1.0.
they, yeah, it looks like
It's
they put the very bare minimum.
it's in straight HTML. It's awesome.
It's fascinating. But the overview on their rating, they're 15th out of 32 teams in their overall ranking, per the players that voted. They rank 15th this year, just slightly down from 14th last year. So that's not good. I think regression bad, but what do I know? Um, Mike McDonald got strong reviews though. 100% of players agreed that he used their time efficiently. Nice.
That's what
Um,
matters. It's being
oh,
efficient.
the family treatment grade went from C last year to an A minus this year. Good. Oh, they didn't have a
Hey,
family room. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Like, um, the biggest thing that stood out were the training room and available treatment modalities. The
stood out
second
poorly, by the
concern
way.
was the tub room, as only about half the players felt the current facilities were adequately sized. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Um, both the training room and tub room will be renovated. Okay, good.
Okay.
Um,
More hot tub, more cold tub. That's
more
what
hot tub,
matters.
more cold tub.
That's
But
going to be what puts them over the top.
it's
I know.
well,
No, but unironically, players are more comfortable. They're going to play
players are
better.
more comfortable. I mean, recovering better. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
After dealing with so many injuries last year.
this is true. Yeah, I mean, again, when it like mentioned like treatment modalities, like they're only doing one sort of treatment or they have limited treatment options, like probably best to actually improve that. We'll go down the list here. So, oh, well, it's funny to see treatment of families went from a C to now an A minus, which ranks fifth in the league overall.
They locked in with the
They did.
families.
They said, "Oh
That's what
shit."
matters. That's what you got to do.
Oop. Oh, I already swore a bunch on this. The food and dining area got a B, which 15th. Nutritionist slash dietitian B, 21st. Locker room B plus, 11th. Training room C at 26. Yucky. Is that their worst grade? Yep.
Yep.
Um, Training staff B minus, 23rd. Weight room 17th at a B. Strength coaches A minus, 11th. Team travel A minus, 7th. Head coach A. A is 13th. That's fascinating to me. He wasn't an A plus 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 plus.
Yeah, and it's 100% feels like it's physical with time. So like the rest of that has to come down, I think, with the players feel that McDonald is moderately receptive to locker room feedback on the team's needs, ranking him 21st out of 32. That is interesting to me. That hints to like something going on. Moderately receptive to locker room feedback on the team needs.
Hmm.
What's going on there?
That would be
Because
the
like
offensive line.
yeah, because like with locker room feedback, it matters who's giving it.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well, and as enough of it when you say moderately, like it's obviously not just one person like complaining.
yeah. So like he's picking who to listen to, which like he's probably getting different things from different players. I'm interested in this. I feel like this more than anything hints to like something interesting going into the locker room. But like everything you hear about McDonald in his locker room is extremely positive. And his presence in there and his presence as a leader. Um, so that is really interesting to me that this
Oh God. Okay.
but he is still ranked A, right?
Yeah.
As a
No, I
head coach
mean,
for this.
now I'm going through like the feedback here and what how these grades came to be, right?
It is a little bit baffling.
And the training room one is, understanding why they ranked so bad. 51% of players feel they have enough hot tub space, a rank 31 out of 32.
Yeah.
53% of players feel they have enough cold tub space, a rank 32 out of
So
32.
the worst
So
tubs.
tub bad, but thankfully they
Worst tubs
are.
in the league.
This does mention like very clearly that they are renovating that.
Hmm.
Um, let's see here. Training staff, I mean, this goes to recovery and injury stuff as well, right? 85% of players report they haven't receive enough one-on-one training treatment, ranking them 22 out of 23 at 32. Sorry, we didn't get smaller league.
Yeah.
Um, the
That's actually
players.
really encouraging league wide because 85% to me,
Oh yeah,
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 but that's only 22. So that's good league wide that players feel
yeah.
like they're getting enough training time.
Let's see.
Fun
Strength
with
coaches
trainers.
ranked really well. Team travel is really good. Yeah, head coach moderately receptive. Yeah, moderately. Um, oh, he's
I
one of six coaches across the league to receive a perfect score.
For time efficiency.
Yes. Hmm. Yeah. No, I think that's my biggest intrigue there in this whole thing, even with how it looks like like the middle school designed it.
Yeah.
Um, Moderately receptive. Well, and then I mean, there are folks who feel a way about Jody Allen owning the team, right? And then you go to the ownership thing, right? And it's
And there are folks who feel away.
owner Jody Allen's average rating for perceived willingness to invest in the facilities is 7.52 out of 10 from the Seahawks players, 23rd out of 32 owners. The players feel that Allen, we're going to use this word again, Jake, moderately contributes to a positive team culture, ranked 21 out of 32. The players feel that Allen is committed to building a competitive team, a rank 24 out of 32. I wonder how much of this, though, is again, when Paul Allen passed, from what I remember, the plan was always for her to sell off the Trailblazers and the Seahawks. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
the plan going forward was for her to be a full-time owner. And team sales typically take a long time, right? So,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. What did you think of the ownership piece?
Um it is I'm hating this use of the word moderately. Really,
Because
really.
of it being used, or because of the fact that it's there and you don't like that this is a thing now that you're gonna think about? Does that make sense?
That's you said the same thing twice.
Damn it. Do you not just like the word? Do you like have an issue with the word moderately, or do
Oh no,
you?
like etymologically I don't have a problem with the word
Okay,
moderately.
it's just the fact that this is not a better grade. It worries you.
Yes. It
Okay.
worries me and it hints okay, because like it's unclear with if this is an average. So if we're having a lot of players with high and a lot of players with low, or if this is, a lot of players voting moderately, right? I'm not sure how this is done. I assume players fill out an anonymous um, sheet, like a grade sheet, right? Which is then handled by the NFLPA. Um, so this either hints to disagreement, so it's got like a lot of high and a lot of low, or it's feeling middling, which like your players feeling middling about your owner's commitment to team culture and commitment to winning is worrying, right? Because, and I know
Yeah.
Jody Allen probably doesn't want to be in this business at the end of the day. And like you said, team sales take a long time, but while you're in it, you gotta want to win, you know? Um, that's kind of what it should all be about. I hate the concept of owning sports teams to make money, right? Owning a sports team should be something you do, if we're going to have that as a concept, should be something you do when you're already rich and you want something fun to do with your money. Um, and it's baffling. And I'm really perplexed here by the rankings. The players feel that Allen is committed to building a competitive team, are ranked 24 of 32. Committed to building a competitive team. That's good. Rank 24? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on with the other owners,
I
you
was
know?
like, I went back to read it. I was like, did I miss a word here?
Yeah. It's like that's extreme. I also I'm wondering who's got 32. Like is there a team out there where the players feel that, blank is absolutely not committed to building a competitive team?
Like the Mariners?
Well, I'm assuming we're talking about football here.
Well, yes, but who's the NFL equivalent of the Seattle Mariners right now?
Um, um, Probably the San
It's
Francisco
obviously different because they
49ers.
use a salary cap, right? But like,
Yeah.
there has to be a
Um,
cheapskate ass team.
it's either the 49ers or the Cardinals, I think.
I think the Cardinals would be up there.
Yeah, Cardinals who sneak in every now and then, but never make a
And then
splash.
I'm like, wow, you're really annoying.
Yeah.
Team cap. Okay, who's got the oh, uh, my favorite offseason tradition, seeing how fucked the New Orleans Saints are and then still getting out of it. They are negative $47 million in cap space.
How'd they do that? Last time they were like 80 over or something stupid.
Cleveland's negative 24. Well, yeah, they took on the State Devil himself. And then the
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs are at $15 million. So then it gets bad. It's like 47 million. Oh my God. That's a lot of money. The the New England Patriots have $129 million in cap space. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah. So no, I mean, I understand it. It is interesting. And again, I wonder, like, we haven't heard really about the sale of the team in a while. Like, it feels like
Yeah.
Jody Allen just kind of, we're just kind of here right now,
Yeah.
which is fine. I mean, it's not bad to have a stable owner, right? But it is interesting to see these things that have been said, right? And wonder how moderately we should consider them. So,
Yeah.
oh, I was blurry for a second. Don't like being blurry. Yeah. So
Maybe she locked in.
that would, yeah. I mean, that's possible, right? I mean,
Yeah.
she's like, hey, this is actually pretty fun. Hey,
Yeah. She just got bit by the football bug. That happens.
birds, birds.
Birds,
Uh,
birds.
uh, yeah.
She had a dream. Paul Allen came to her in a dream. Not Paul Allen, the former owner. Paul Allen from American Psycho.
Oh, I think you're gonna say Paul Allen, the Minnesota Vikings play-by-play radio announcer.
Impressive. Very nice.
There's a lot of Paul
Let's see Paul
Allens.
Allen's team.
Okay, that's enough. Um, anything you want to touch on last before we get on out of here? Before we
Um,
finally finalize the circling of this nest?
Congratulations to the motion picture of Anora for 5 Oscar wins.
5?
5!
Damn,
Yeah, Anora sweep, actually.
damn.
Um, yeah.
Honora in
Editing,
5.
Anora in 5. Editing, picture, actress, director, and original screenplay. If this doesn't happen to Dune Messiah in 2027, we riot, frankly. If
Wait,
there
there's
is, if there,
another one?
yeah, part 1 and part 2 were the first book, and part 3 is going to be the second book, which kind of finishes the
Oh, that's
storyline there.
right.
The book Dune
Okay.
Messiah was written because people didn't get Dune the book, and Frank Herbert got really mad. He was like, "I'm going to beat you over the head with what my book is about." With the little 200-page masterpiece called Dune Messiah.
Video. That's a great way to end things. Just
I
end
I
them
love violence, and that's why I'm a
as
football fan.
that could be a t-shirt that someone
Yeah,
would sell at Walmart.
yeah.
It's on the t-shirt wall. I love violence. That's why I love football.
We should sell that T-shirt. A little CSS logo in the middle. No one steal our idea.
Everyone, please, we got dibs.
Yes, yeah. This is an
The
official
Seahawks to
notice of
Ernest
dibs.
Jones when he becomes an unrestricted free agent. We have dibs. Don't
We were
negotiate,
here first, please,
please.
please.
Okay. All right.
I
Well,
will. Yeah.
That'll do it. Until we see you next week, if things happen, when we get the big Buku Bucks Geno Smith extension,
Yeah.
or if Jake just finds another cat that barks. Until then, take care of yourselves. Be well. Do whatever you can to make today a great day.
Chuck Arnold here from the Seahawks. Obviously, you're a busy man. We had you, well, not we, but you were on the President's Day show a few days ago.
Yeah.
Just how the Seahawks are now in the offseason. They've got the combine going on and all that. But what does your offseason look like as someone who, maybe isn't going down to Indianapolis and all that? Like,
Yeah.
you were talking about Lumen Field, and Lumen Field is going to be really busy the next few years. Do you get any time off?
I always love it when people say off season, because there's really
There's
no
no
off
off
season.
season.
It's our on season, yeah. But you think about it, during the season when we're actually playing games every Sunday, or hopefully Sunday nights and Mondays and those things, we're executing what we're planning today.
Yes.
So we're our season ticket renewals are out right now. So we're looking at building our season ticket base. We're selling partnerships, we're selling suites, we're building marketing campaigns. We're out in the community more often now because we have that opportunity to do that and touch a wider, area of the Pacific Northwest than we normally can do during the season. And so we're out there humming. It's business is never really slows down for us, and that's Seahawks. And then, like we talked about, Lumen Field. I love all the mascots coming by us here.
Yeah.
Are they getting some time? Are they giving
Got Sammy back there.
Yeah, there we go. But our building's one of the busiest buildings in the NFL outside of just looking at NFL games. We have the Sounders, we have the Rain, we have concerts, dirt shows, all of those things happen. And so we never really have an off season.
No. So I guess some that's newer is the throwbacks. And,
Throwbacks, yep.
I know with the Mariners, it's talked about a little bit because so many folks became fans with the 95 season, right? Nostalgia is such a big thing for folks, right? Like, how much success has the organization seen with that? Just not only obviously the jerseys are a big thing, and people ask, when are we going to wear the jerseys again? But just the whole, like the Lumen Field Pro Shop has the whole like setup, and that has to take people back. Like, I don't need you to give me specific numbers, but how successful was that just to bring that back and bring such a beloved throwback back and have that be part of your branding?
We'll put it this way. When we did that, at the time that we launched that, it was the most successful throwback launch in the NFL history. And now teams are starting that to do more of those, and I don't know where that ranks today, but we were the most successful at that time. And the great thing about that is people were asking us, when is that going to happen? When is that going to happen? We took our time and tried to make sure we did it right.
Did it right, yeah.
And when you look at throwbacks, people like to go back to kind of their first jersey or even their second. We went back to the 90s. It wasn't that far back, but we went back to a time that was really pivotal in our city. We went back to a time that our team was transitioning. It was with new ownership with Paul Allen. So it was for us, it was a really cool opportunity to focus on that 90s theme. And we're gonna keep it around. People love it. We're gonna, we don't have an opportunity to do it every game, but we're always gonna have it for a game or two a year.
Yeah. Well, and then, talking about sort of the history here, is one of my best friends is right behind me. I know the 50th season is such a big deal for you guys, right?
He's getting you, not me. That's good.
Yeah. No, Bowie and I have some history.
There you go.
I'll try to be professional.
Is that gonna grow hair when you do that?
We've been doing this a few years. It hasn't done it. Oh, see, nice shine.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Have you ever had this happen to you? Is this new?
No, this is new from Bowie. Yeah, Bowie. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, where was I? 50th season. Yes, like I know on the President's Day show that was
mascots are throwing you off.
Yeah, well, especially that one. Blitz,
it's like between two ferns. It's between two bald guys.
That could be something like I do in the future. Thank you for that. I can credit Chuck Arnold for that.
Yeah.
It's such a big deal because, for so long, at least growing up, with the Seahawks, it felt like the Seahawks were kind of one of the newer kids on the block, considering some of the older franchises in the league. How much fun is that going to be? Because obviously people have their own favorites. My dad was a John L. Williams guy, right? Like I grew up, I see the occasional Max Strong. I'm going with fullbacks, I guess.
Yeah.
Both
of them. Yeah.
The Joe Juravicious is a nice pull for folks. Like,
Yep.
And then obviously we get to the newer jersey era.
Yeah.
And so many people really
Oh,
boomed with that,
the whole
right?
Legion of Boom. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even do that intentionally.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it's a lot of work to do,
Yeah.
but how fun is that going to be to celebrate that? Because I know you said, I think
Oh.
you guys wanted to do something every week.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not saying just every week during the season. We're going to start celebrating it.
Generally.
Well, we're going to see stuff from probably as we start to get ready for the draft and all of those things. We're going to have moments that celebrate that 50 seasons. But when you think about, we're going to identify the top 50 players in history, and that's a heck of a process. I'll tell you that, because there's how do you take number 51 and not put them on the list?
Yeah.
But there are some great names and some great players that we've had in our history, and so that's probably what gave me one of the toughest jobs that we do. But then we're going to tell great moments, great plays. It's there's so much that we're going to be able to celebrate during the season, and it really has already kind of kicked off. When we kicked off renewals, we had a lot of stuff in there with the 50th season, launching the logo, and social media is going to be, on fire for months.
There'll be a lot of debate about that, I'm sure.
And anyway, we love that, because that means people
gets you talking.
Gets you talking,
and it means people have the passion.
Yeah,
right. There's certainly a lot of passion in these sports.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you two sort of out of the box things here. I know your neighbor, T-Mobile Park, hosted the Winter Classic, right? And someone who covers the Crack, and I had kind of wondered if maybe Lumen Field would do something like that, just because the shape makes more sense to me. I was talking to some of the league folks when we were doing that build-up week, because they got to put the ice in and they got to add up. They loved Seattle. The NHL was really excited about Seattle and how they handled things. I know it might be a difficult position to put you in, but if the proposition of an outdoor game, because you probably wouldn't get to host a second Winter Classic that soon, but like the shoe is hosting the Stadium Series. If that sort of proposition became available, like, how would you feel about that and Lumen Field hosting that? Because the Lumen Field conversion crews, I've seen it going from Rainer Sounders games that I cover, and then they got the concert. I just watch them as I'm leaving the press box, and I'm like, these people don't stop.
No.
Right? Like, do you think that Lumen Field would be ready for that and would excel at hosting another NHL event?
I would. One, thanks for recognizing the conversion team, because those guys are hard workers. Yeah, it's remarkable what they're able to do. And so no doubt that they could do it, and no doubt that we would be a great host for it. I think T-Mobile was a great host for it. They did an outstanding job across the street there. One of the difficult things that I think that we heard during this process, was that exactly.
This is
there we
common theme here.
Common theme, yeah. It's what we get for losing our hair, I guess. The rain could be an issue. T-Mobile could close their roof.
Yes.
So for ours, you know what kills ice really quickly?
The rain.
The rain.
Yeah.
and warmer temperatures.
Well, even
too.
direct sunlight was an issue I've heard before as well.
So, not saying that makes things impossible, but I know that that's a factor that was considered in that.
So yeah, that makes sense, and that was something. Even they loved the roof, and that kind of made sense to me. I was like, why would they pick that? Because again, the shape of the field makes sense to me.
Yeah. It totally makes sense.
Yeah,
and it's happened before.
And so that's why I was like, Lumen Field seems like a great place for this, but I wanted to get your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah.
And then the Seahawks, typically, at least in my experience, have been a leader in so many things, whether it's using the platform, right? I know that was such a massive thing. And innovation's a big thing. Are you talking about, different, the boards? I think there was stuff about, the concessions at Lumen Field. Even though you're a leader, I'm sure you look at some of the other teams in the area and talk to them. Is there another team that maybe you guys converse with more, whether it's about facilities or fan engagement or, just the game day experience? Like, because I know the sports world here, especially in Seattle, is such a small place.
Small place.
Is there talk between the organizations about how to improve the game day experience, or even the facilities or anything for your teams?
Well, I think we all champion one another, so we want everybody to have the greatest experience, because Seattle sports fans are sports fans of the Kraken. They're sports fans of the Mariners, the Seahawks, the Reign, the Sounders. They're not just one team.
Yes.
So we've got to deliver an outstanding experience for them in everything that we do. So that's real important. And we have great conversations with one another and try to be as supportive as possible. For us, we look at a lot of things just even outside of our market. What can we bring in new? There's a lot of teams that are doing really great things that we can either use for inspiration, use for us to brainstorm or build off of. So yeah, we love kind of keeping a pulse on what's going on, not just in our market, but all over the country, and even some international stuff too.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's perfect, sir. Thank you.
Please welcome Seattle Kraken CEO Todd Leiweke and former Seattle Seahawks and Sounders FC executive Gary Wright.
I'm here with my great friend Gary Wright, who, by the way, Lumen Field has a press box named after this man, a legend in his own right. This guy is an epic leader. His journey is amazing, and it leads to tonight, where I please welcome to the stage the 2025 Sports Leader of the Year, the great Chuck Arnold. Look, they're giving you a standing ovation.
It's like getting the band back together up here. It's lots of fun. And for me, just to even be thought of in the same conversation with you two is such an honor. Thank you. And just, it's such an honor to be standing here in front of everybody. I want to thank, where's Beth? I don't see her out there, but I want to thank Beth and the Seattle Sports Commission. You guys definitely know how to put on an amazing evening. This is fantastic. So, my journey in sports started 31 years ago. 30, you got me by one there. And it sounds like a really long story coming up, but I'll make it short so it doesn't get you that way. I was a college senior needing an internship to graduate, and I rolled into the Seahawks headquarters, oversized jacket that I probably stole from my dad's closet, wrinkled khakis, a crooked tie, and went in and sat at a huge conference table with 4 or 5 people sitting on the other side of it. And one of those people being Gary Wright. And I remember going through the interview process and then driving home from Kirkland to Tacoma, thinking to myself, gosh, I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have answered that question differently. And shortly after getting home, it must have been a long commute that day, shortly after getting home, Gary called me that same day and offered me an internship at the Seattle Seahawks. So I want to say, Gary, thank you for giving me my first chance. Thank you. And with that, there was something that Gary always said. He said, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? And you did so much for me, so appreciate that very much. Thank you. And, you know, as my career went on, and Todd said as he became the president of the Seahawks, I learned so much from Todd and his leadership, but what I really learned was how important it was to give back to the community, how important it was to be active in the community, and how important it was to strengthen your relationships with your fans. So thank you, Todd, for those valuable lessons that we'll always remember. And you guys are kicking ass at the Kraken with those same things in the community and with your fans, so great work. But I also know that an award like this it's not an individual award. This happens because I've surrounded myself with hard workers. I've surrounded myself with great people. And I'm gonna pull an audible here because I have a ton of my teammates here with me tonight, and I'm gonna make them stand up real quick. Can all my Seahawks teammates stand up real quick? Very cool. And I'm gonna put this here because I thank you guys for making something like this happen for me. This is your hard work that helps me be recognized. So thank you guys. I have the best team in all of professional sports. So they're fantastic. I work for the best owner in all of professional sports. My family, I'll say, is the best in the world. My wife, Jana, my son, Charlie, my daughter, Jordan, those are my biggest fans. They support me through everything. And I think about this, as Todd mentioned, how blessed am I? I grew up here. I've worked for one team. It's the team I rooted for as a kid and wore jerseys of Steve Largent. And I get to do that with great people, and there's a lot of people in this room that have supported me along this process too. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for that. And it's a dream come true. Thank you.
Hello there, everybody. Charles Hamaker here with Circling Seattle Sports. I'm joined by Jen Barnes of Rough and Tumble that we happen to be at right now. Yeah. Jen, why don't you talk to me a little bit about what we're announcing today, which is our partnership.
I'm so excited about this. First of all, I just want to say thank you. You know, I think all of us here at Rough and Tumble are big fans of what you and your team at Circling Seattle Sports does. And so, you know you know this, but when you came to me with this idea, it just seemed pretty natural. You know, and it's not just me. I think a lot of people in the sports community in Seattle also really respect you and your team. So it's exciting to kind of see these two things melding together, and we're really excited to start implementing some of the things and then hopefully seeing you guys a little bit more often.
Yeah, and so with what Jen says about seeing us more often, you know, we've got a few things in the works, but you'll see watch parties here. We'd like to do a few different of our community drives, which you'll hear about here in a little bit. From now, you know, we've got to make our announcements one at a time. I can't drop everything.
Not everything
right?
all at once.
But this has been a home for a lot of our team, whether it's myself, our friend, our photographer Liz is behind the camera. Liz is here often, so our team has kind of adopted this place kind of like our own since I saw you at our soft launch. So, you know, it's been great to have that support. And you know, in a lot of ways, and part of the reason I wanted to do this was the Rough and Tumble embodies a lot of what Circling Seattle Sports wants to do. Obviously with women's sports, with the storm and the rain, but just being, you know, having the game on, every game on.
Yep.
You know, how much of that, you know, did you see a line kind of even before this idea was mentioned when I first met you?
I think it's always felt like that. I mean, you and your team were here on opening night, and you just feel like you're part of the space, so it felt like really natural. And the fact that you actually cover all of the sports really makes your group stand out. So you are always covering all the rain games, all the storm games. You'd have women's softball, you'd have women's basketball, you'd have women's hockey. We love it. So all of those things, and obviously passionate M's fans, passionate Hawks fans, and passionate Kraken and Sounders fans. So really, from our perspective, those two things meshed really well.
So, I mean, you heard it from Jen herself, but this will be our home for all of these events, whether it's you can't make it to these games at home, we're always going to direct you to Rough and Tumble, and obviously the games on the road as well. All these, I mean, we're talking about the rain. They've got their schedule out finally, but this will be our home for that.
Great.
The storm games on the road, this is our home.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes.
I love it.
And when I mentioned it to Jen, when I first had this idea come up, I had this idea come up wearing a pink wig.
Yes, you did.
Ahead of Megan Rapinoe's final regular season home game for the Reign this past year.
Yeah.
I told her it's because I wanted this to feel genuine.
Yep.
I wanted a connection to feel genuine, and it does. So that's what this is. Rough and Tumble is the home of Circling Seattle Sports, and I'm so excited to finally announce this partnership.
I can't wait.